Hello, veterans. Welcome to the Veterans Information Channel. Today, I want to talk about some basic things, just some basic items about compensation and health care benefits for veterans, their families, their children, spouses, caregivers. You've earned these benefits. How do you go about it? Okay. If you think you've got an illness or injury that's related to your service when you were in the military, and I don't care, and you shouldn't care. I mean, if it's years later, you should fight for those benefits because just so many illnesses don't show up until later on in life. Some injuries don't really affect you until you get a little bit older. So you're entitled. So if you're not receiving any VA benefits at the current time, any compensation for injuries or illnesses, and you feel that you should, uh, here's how you should go about it. The very first thing you should do is to establish at least one illness or injury. You might have multiple, but let's start off with the simplest one, and that is most veterans that were in combat, whether you were in the Navy aboard a ship, on land with the Marines, you were exposed to loud noises, and you might have a ringing in the ears that never goes away. You can close your eyes, and you're in a room where there's nothing, no music, no sound. You just hear the constant ringing in your ears, and that's a 10% compensation. So, and let's say you've got other things, but let's start off. That's the simplest thing to get resolved. So you would get your DD 214, dog 214, and if you don't have a nice clear copy of it, you can go on the government's website. You can go on the va.gov/records/get military service records, get a copy of your DD 214. Do you need a lawyer? No, you don't. You don't need a lawyer. Use a service organization. You know, get the form, fill it out, put your claim, describe the ringing in your ears, for example. You know, and then either contact the DAV, the VFW, the American Legion, the VVA, any one of those AMVETS. I always forget to mention AMVETS. And contact them. You can call them, you can go online and tell them you have a claim you want to file and you'd like their organization to assign a representative to file your claim for you and follow up on it. And this is something that they do. This is what they do. So you get that established, and then another way of going about this, if you live close to a VA facility, whether it's a clinic or a hospital, they have a desk there usually, or an office that is, not sure, that I'll get the term for you here in a minute, but it's an office that eligibility, the Office of Eligibility, and you can make an appointment, and you go in with your DD 214, and you see what you are eligible for. They may tell you you're not eligible for anything. Well, then, that's where filing a claim for compensation needs to happen first. So once you get approved for eligibility, let's say it's for the ringing in your ears and your 10%, and that's something so your next move is to address some of these other illnesses that you may have or injuries or concerns. And once you get a ID card, you will be able to gain access to so many things. For instance, My Health myhealth.va. Myhealth.va. It's an app, and you could establish an account on that, and that way you can communicate with the VA medical system, whether it's the patient's advocate office, a primary care physician that's been assigned to you, which will also have a nurse. So there's 3 contacts there. These are web portals. You can gain access to your medical records, your service records, and just much, much more. What is that? myhealth.va. And put that app on your laptop, put it on your cell phone, gain access. So then you can proceed to address other illnesses. If you were in Vietnam, for instance, there is like 14 approved illnesses that you can, one of my earlier videos, you can search for it. It lists the 14 illnesses and gives the medical terms. Now, doesn't mean it's got to be, your symptoms have to be exact, like neuropathy. Neuropathy affects people differently, and, Parkinson's disease, any of those, you may have minor symptoms related to that. Don't let them tell you, no, 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 no. No, you want to hear, yes, veteran, we're going to take care of you. That's what you want to hear. So you need to use your service organizations. You need to, basically, if my advice would be, if you have any kind of service-connected illness or injury, you should, number 1 for me would be the Disabled American Veterans, the DAV. You can go online, you can become a life member. You don't have to be receiving compensation or anything approved yet. They will help you get there. Get your benefits, because this not only affects you, affects your family in future years. So many Gulf War veterans exposed to all kinds of gases, and let's just say you don't feel good for long periods of time. There's something wrong. That's not normal, And so no matter what conflict that you are in or what part of the service you are in, you've been exposed to things that normal people aren't exposed to. Gunpowder, Willie Peter, all kinds of things. Atomic weapons. Yeah, you might have cancer from exposure to atomic weapons. And just numerous things, asbestos, holy crap. You were in the Navy, and you were on one of these ships that was built in the 60s, 70s, 50s, 40s. They're covered in asbestos. And even though they removed it, doesn't mean it's all gone. No. So, but once you establish that, then there's benefits in your state. Some states, for example, the state of Florida, you don't pay property tax if you're 100% disabled. If you've got PTSD, you've got some injuries, you've been sprayed with Agent Orange or exposed to gases, and you work with a DAV or any other service organization, and you get yourself to the 100% disability compensation from the VA, plus, I'm only talking about getting what you deserve. I'm not talking about, something that's not right. I'm talking about 100% working with an organization. If you have got something going on, you deserve to be taken care of. And it's mostly health care. Get the proper health care. And my experience, veterans don't want to go to the outside. Want to go to the VA. Now, what's the big difference to me? Let's just say you have a doctor's appointment with your primary care physician at the VA, and it's 9:30 in the morning, and you get there at 9:15 because they tell you get there 15 minutes earlier. You check in. Now it's 9:30, and the doctor sees you. You've been there 15 minutes, and a doctor sees you. That's what's normal. That's what's been normal for the past 10 years at the VA. So, it's COVID has affected it quite a bit. You can't really do that now, but when things get back to normal. But that's why you want to go to the VA versus you go to a doctor on the outside, and especially for the first time. For some reason, your appointment's at 9:30, you don't see the guy till 11:30, 12 o'clock. Because they want to they keep putting you off because, yeah, they don't feel they're going to get paid as much, whatever. I mean, it's you go to the VA, they're not trying to make a profit. They're not trying to squeeze as many patients in as possible. They're trying to make it convenient for you, and especially, you get a lot of pain and suffering. You want to sit around in a waiting room for hours, and it's painful. It's painful sitting and waiting. And when you're in, to me, when you go into a VA facility, you pretty much relive your military service in your mind. You can't help it. You can't help it. So, so in Florida, if you're 100%, you want to pay property taxes. You get access to a lot of parks and things. You get discounts on different things that you earned it. We're 1% of the population. In Ohio, if you're living in Ohio, for example, and every state's different, just the fact that you were in the service, I know after Vietnam, didn't even, read about this somewhere, it cuts you a check for $500 for being in the military or being overseas. I forget what it is, but there's state benefits, there's payouts, there's, fishing license, hunting license, park passes. If you've been in any kind of conflict, especially Vietnam, World War II, Korea, right now, maybe you can get on a freedom flight. Look up freedom flights or honor flights, and, they take you to Washington, D.C. For a day, first class, charter plane. This was started by a aviator, World War II combat pilot. Started this organization in Dayton, Ohio, after World War II, taking veterans to Washington, D.C., and let them see the monuments, and flying them there, flying them back home. Now it's all over the country. So you should look up honor flights, freedom flights. It's a great experience. It's like for Vietnam veterans, it's welcoming, giving you the welcome home you never got before. But in Florida, we have K9 for Patriots. They train and provide service dogs. It's a nonprofit organization, K9 for Patriots. I'm imagining a lot of states, there's nonprofit organizations like that train either your service dog or they get you a service dog. So something to consider, But, use your congressional offices in your district to get help with things. Even if you're going to the VA, but things aren't the way you think they should be, and you need help over an issue, contact your local congressman's office, ask them who they have designated in their office, one of their aides, congressional aides, to assist veterans. They should all have that. I know that here in Florida they do. They say, oh yeah, call this number. This person here handles veterans issues. And it doesn't make any difference what party they are. If you're in a certain district, and no matter what party they are, they're your congressman. Even though you didn't vote for them, they're your congressman. They're getting paid by your taxes. So there you have it. So anyhow, once you establish and have access to the VA healthcare system, you should think about your spouse. There's benefits for caregivers. There's benefits for children. A lot of children have been affected by Agent Orange and the Gulf War exposure to different gases and burn pits and chemicals, poison, and it carries through your DNA and your genes down to your children. You may have a child that has different cancers, or whether it's thyroid. I mean, it's for real. Even though they say no, no, no. Yes, yes. We want to hear yes. If you know. So anyhow, I want to thank everybody that has subscribed to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Please subscribe. And I get a little bit of a disclaimer here. If in any of my previous videos that I may have offended anybody, or I haven't had anybody dispute any. I try to research facts. I'm not perfect. Nobody is. Nobody. But I might have made some mistakes or misquoted or said some things that sound a little political, but moving forward, that's not what we want to do. Just want to give information to veterans and just kind of pass it on. And by subscribing to the channel, that would help that cause. And I mentioned in a segment the other day about writing letters. Why not? We've got whether it's the secretary of the VA or a congressman or even a president of the United States, you can write them a letter. You can, and at the end of your letter, you can request a response. Somebody will respond. No kidding. Try it. Letter writing campaigns. I know this is 2021, but I think they read more letters than they do emails and texts and tweets. Old-fashioned, write a letter. Takes a minute, and tell them your concerns, what you're concerned about. So this is the Veterans Information Channel, and like I said, please subscribe to the channel. I would really, really appreciate it. And everybody, be safe. If you have any questions, submit them to me. I do my best to research and try to answer it, but it's all about health care. That's the way I look at it. It's not about, compensation and this and that. It's about health care, access to health care at the VA because you earned it. If you're a military family, you earned it. They're not giving you anything. You know that. So stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, and everybody be safe.